Oh boy, we have, whoo! Do not feel discouraged if you are looking on the screen because we have so much stuff to talk about today. Please, if you can do me a big favor, do not look at my face. I'm having a terrible dermatitis outbreak right now. I have some CBD cream all over my face. Weather fluctuations are utterly killing my skin, so please focus on all the lovely imagery that we have going on right here. I have so much to talk about. SoFi just ended up popping earnings. It was, once again, a triple beat. I mean, SoFi is a phenomenal company. That's pretty much what they do. They beat on rev, they beat on EPS, they beat on guidance, and they continue raising and continue growing, right? They ended up coming in with a 30% growth rate on their quarter. Analysts were expecting 28%. So it wasn't something like a massive blowout like a Palantir situation pretty much last quarter. But here's the thing. When analysts are expecting something and you come in and beat it, and you are a growth company and you are still growing, oh man, it makes me feel so good to be a shareholder. So why is this stock falling off a cliff, so to speak? Why are we not soaring? Why are we not going to the moon? Why are we not at $45? Well, let's go ahead and talk about all this stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and go through each and every single one of these images on the screen here. I have so much to talk about, not to mention also talk about the public account here on this channel as well. We'll probably get to that momentarily in the second half of this video. If you find value in today's video, smash the like button, completely free, and also subscribe as well too. That's also free. Okay, so first thing on the list here, some external factors. Well, it's really no shocker and no surprise at all. The Trump administration, aka President Trump, has nominated Kevin Walsh. I believe I'm pronouncing that name. If I'm not, well, hopefully he doesn't watch this video. Morning water cheers. It is 10:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Gonna try to play some golf this weekend, but I'm a little fearful that, well, my golf balls might be, frozen. It's a little chilly, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, Kevin here, he was one of the Fed governors to vote for an interest rate cut that just pretty much happened a couple days ago. Obviously, the Federal Reserve did not give us a interest rate cut. To be perfectly honest, we really should have gotten a 25 basis point cut, because if inflation is going to be a temporary thing because of tariffs, which is stated by Powell himself that tariffs are causing a one-time temporary spike in inflation, well then why just not do a cut now? And are we going to wait until, like, we see the tariffs, like stabilizing in a way? Because what if theoretically the labor market kind of really goes south? And one thing that SoFi said during their conference call is that they are expecting for the year out, they're expecting 2 rate cuts. So if this mofo comes in May or June and does multiple rate cuts, and if SoFi is expecting 2 rate cuts for 26, and we get 3 or maybe even 4, or if we get a bigger rate cut, because SoFi is expecting 2 rate cuts of 25%, so a total of 0.50 interest rate total cut for 2026. However, if this guy comes in and says, hey, I'm going to go ahead and do a 1-point rate cut right now, or do a 50-point, basis rate cut and another 50 basis point, that basically, it makes SoFi's guidance is going to go high. We see this a lot in a lot of other companies on, it's just very smart CEOs. Alex Karp of Palantir is very like this. The first quarter of the year tends to be very low. And as the year goes on, he keeps raising. So we did not get a very liberal like guidance. We got a fairly conservative, but the guidance that SoFi gave to us was ultimately a very beat and raise mentality. They're still beating, they're still raising their guidance, but it's not like, hey, we're going to be looking at like 4 rate cuts. You know, it's keeping things realistical because we don't know what's going to happen the second half of the year. But they are projecting that unemployment could very well go to as high as 5%. Now, if unemployment goes to as high as 5% projected by SoFi, they believe that unemployment's going to really remain between 4.5 and 5% throughout this year. But if SoFi, but if we go have a 5% unemployment going into midterms, that is going to be fuel for the Democrats to really take over the Senate and take over the House. Actually, I believe the Democrats have the Senate. No. They do not have the Senate. The Republicans have the Senate by like 1 vote, I believe, which is the vice president stepping on in. But it could be fuel for fire for the midterm election, which means that Kevin at the Fed, as long as he gets in, is going to be aggressively cutting rate cuts. He's gonna do whatever Donald Trump really wants him to theoretically do. Okay, so as you basically see on the actually I'll get to this momentarily of talking about my SoFi positions. What else do I have on the screen here? Okay, so SoFi raised its released its earnings today, delivering a beat and raise. That's just what the company does. Basically, just seeing some numbers here. The numbers that we just got released, obviously $1 billion quarter, very big, very important. Robinhood released $1 billion. They went off to the moon. Palantir released $1 billion. When and I'm talking about like when Palantir was doing $1 billion a quarter, they were off to the races. What's going on with SoFi? I mean, we just surpassed $1 billion of revenue. Adjusted EPS, that's awesome. And then EBITDA, you're talking you're talking about a 50+% increase year over year. That's awesome. EPS is beyond a double, so beyond 100% increase year over year. And adjusted net revenue for the entire, it's just like if you look at the numbers year over year, it is such a great growing company significantly. There's absolutely really nothing in this company that you can really negatively say like about. Key takeaways, obviously I'm doing a public account profile challenge, so Gemini is very much orientated to my goals here. That's the reason why it says 1OK build for this profile here. Record growth, members growth, 35% year over year. That's awesome. I have a SoFi's, I do have a SoFi checking and savings. I don't have a lot of moolah in there, but I'm seriously considering moving money over. I have a military background. I ended up doing a little bit over 15 years in the United States Marine Corps. I use military banks, aka USAA, Navy Federal is my main source of like banking. SoFi offers better percents on their checkings and also savings than military banks. So I'm actually I'm not even considering it anymore. I'm going to be doing a lot more banking, honestly, with SoFi, because the advantages that you get for banking at SoFi, not to mention a all-in-one shop, is something that a traditional bank or even a military bank they cannot like give to you. Even me being in a retirement status, it's like, dude, SoFi gives me better advantages, which is really crazy if you think about it. Very unreal. But then again, SoFi is a disruptor in the banking sector. Okay, profitability engine. The 60% year-over-year increase of adjusted EBITDA proves the one-stop shop model. Yep, they are a disruptor. Guidance range, management projected full 26, EPS of 60 cents, which is 10% above previous analyst estimation. That is, like, phenomenal here. Utterly, remarkably phenomenal. What else do we have? Here's a little chart as well, too. The most significant milestone in Q4 2025, SoFi crossed 1 billion quarter revenue. And like I said, so when Palantir produced $1 billion a quarter, that is massive, okay? Think about all the companies, like, in the world. Now, I do understand that publicly traded companies are, like, the top of the top companies. But you got to be thinking about how many companies there are out there and how many few companies actually do $1 billion per quarter, okay? Let alone a profitable company as well, too. Robinhood, Palantir, they were off to the races. What's going on for SoFi? Why are they falling off a friggin' cliff here, huh? Look at this. Q1, 25, Q2, Q3, and now Q4. Boom, baby. Year over year growth, 37.1%. Beautiful. Above the analysts of, the analysts wanted 28. Quarter growth, quarter over quarter, 6.7. Hey, it doesn't, look at the annual. That's totally fine. We beat all expectations here. Palantir, they put up 68%. Can they go ahead and beat 68%, or are they just going to beat analysts? That's what we're waiting on next week, which is going to be very important. But once again, focus on them beating analysts is the biggest part. They're slapping analysts in the face repeatedly, and they're also raising guidance as well too. And if you notice a trend, what is the trend? Q1 of the beginning of the year tends to be low, and then you look at the Q2, you look at Q3. Obviously, this past Q, you can definitely argue maybe the government shutdown had some stuff, but regardless, the company is friggin' growing massively quarter over quarter and also annually. Annually. Big numbers. It's a growth company. Phenomenal growth company. What else do we have here? Lastly, here's a great little chart put together pretty much of the last year. Year over year revenue, quarter over quarter. Focus on the adjusted net revenue, which is massive here. Basically just scaling upward. And this is essentially just what you want to see in a phenomenal growing company. Utterly remarkably growing. Okay, so lastly, this is my SoFi position on my private account, my Robinhood account. It's a screenshot. Obviously, it's not real time because it is definitely going down to Chinatown right now. This was actually over 300% several months ago, which is a little kick in the nuts, but it's really whatever. Okay, so my public account challenge, I'm looking to take this amount here to 6 figures in the course of 17 months. If I deposit another $2,500, then it will go down to 16 months. But right now, it's pretty much 17 months. I got some capital uninvested on this account. Pretty much 5% of the profile is uninvested. A little bit over 5%. It's pretty remarkably humorous because if you've been following my videos for the last couple weeks and couple months, obviously SoFi at one point was over AMD. Now AMD is really struggling to really maintain its #1 spot here. SoFi is utterly getting kicked in the teeth. Meta is holding its frigging gains. So what am I doing? Because I have a lot of money in SoFi right now, and I am looking as a long-term investor of 10 years on this company. Obviously, other companies that I own is definitely not a 10-year investment strategy. My head is in the way for Netflix in the bottom. AMD, 3 to 5 years, maybe longer. Meta, definitely over the course of this year, probably into next year, because they're just putting up insane amount of money. Their spending on AI is out of control, but I believe they're going to be producing a lot of juicy returns, okay? Once again, my own personal opinion, Adobe, I really need to buy more. Palantir, if they go ahead and continue growing, I gotta buy more. Robinhood, I'm definitely excited to be pretty much I can very much own Robinhood for the next couple years here. PayPal, it's really up in the air, especially after this earnings. Honest Company is really going to be a short-term trade, and same thing with probably Netflix, which I really haven't even had time to really build out my position on Netflix here. Okay, so am I going to be buying more SoFi shares? Here's the hard reality. I was buying SoFi shares on this profile back during Liberation Day, and over the course of the last couple of months, I did add to my position. My average on this account was actually, I believe, right below 13, so I have been averaging up a little bit. Obviously, my cost basis on SoFi on this account, it's not as massive as AMD, but obviously my friggin' cost basis on my private account, it's pretty massive. So I am up to my eyes in shares of SoFi here. And my total shares on my private account is 1642. So I have over 2,000 shares of SoFi. Do I believe that SoFi is going to be a $100 stock someday? SoFi is going to be well beyond $100 someday. SoFi could very well be maybe even 300. Anthony Noto has thrown out the T word over the next decade. Yes, $1 trillion company. Is that possible to be a banking giant? Yeah. You're talking about SoFi making over $1 million potentially for me. Is that even possible? That really is. If SoFi was $1 trillion of market cap, I believe their stock price would be like 800 and something bucks. That is well beyond $1 million. Would I hold all the way into that time period? To be honest, I probably wouldn't hold all of my shares, but I'm going to definitely be buying this stock for the next several years and definitely later. But right now, it's not the time to take profit. There are a lot of people that are probably in my position that are up maybe 200%, maybe even 300%, and they're taking profits because they're fed up with the we beat analysts, we beat the guidance. Why is the stock selling off? They just really get fed up. Me, I can definitely take a punch. I'm also good at throwing punches as well too. So I've been around the block, especially in the stock market for a while, to really spot bullshit. And SoFi just has a pretty simple, like, fundamental analysis where they go ahead and put up great numbers. And what ends up happening is that they end up selling off after earnings. Why is that? A lot of it is buy the rumor, sell the news. A lot of it is people that don't want to be long-term shareholders. A lot of people get scared because they're holding a 200% gainer of a stock. And a lot of people may look at like my profile, my public profile here, and they may say, well, you have a massive SoFi position. Maybe you should take some profits and put it into other stocks. Or I could very well just not buy any more SoFi shares, and I could very well just buy other companies such as Adobe, such as Palantir and Robinhood, which I plan on it. So really theoretically, my game plan with SoFi, because I have bought shares over the course of the last couple months here, and I have definitely averaged up on this account. On my private account, I'm not looking to really average up. My private account, I have plenty of shares on there. Any type of shares that I buy on SoFi are really bonus shares, all in all. And a couple months ago, I actually had, I think, only about like a little over 300 shares of SoFi on this account. So I'm pretty good on owning shares. The company is phenomenal. I got a position built out. If you are not a shareholder of SoFi, or you do not have a position built out, it's a phenomenal buying opportunity because we are going into a $20 consolidation period. Why are we doing Oh boy, excuse me. Sorry. Dermatitis and burpees. On a closing note, why are we selling off? Because that's what SoFi does. SoFi sells off after earnings, and we also have a lot of scary other factors. Government shutdown may very well happen, although it looks like we may very well get a deal here. But here are some positive things. What do we notice happening in the precious metal market? Well, the whole reason silver ran up is because silver... Oh boy, hold on one second. Oh, you gotta be friggin' kidding me, man. Oh boy, my recorder just froze. You have gotta be kidding me. Come on, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Unfriggin' believable. Oh boy. Yep, this is definitely not good. Well, I don't even know if I'm still recording or if I'm not recording here. Silver is coming down, which is very bullish for the market. If silver continues to come down, that means the dollar is going to be strengthening. So for a banking sector, that's going to be bullish. SoFi is going to have a delayed reaction, in my opinion. We're probably going to see a SoFi rally over the next, several weeks here. There's nothing wrong with this company. Don't get shooken out of your shares. Don't let the haters scare you. And remember why you invested in a great company. On a closing note, I don't even know if I'm still recording or not. Stay tuned for more videos.